Yo, 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 what's good, YouTube? What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back. Welcoming you to Answering the Bell with Stormybman, our call-in show for Sunday mornings. For this Sunday, September 5th, 2021, and this is number 8. As we are rolling right along, they come around fast, these Sundays. And I'm just so pleased to be here and pleased that you are here with me, man. This is amazing that people want to get up and listen to Stormybman on a Sunday morning, talk boxing with a call-in show. I want to say salute to everybody that's out there. We have people who have been there since the show was ready to launch, and we had Go James. Khalil is out there. It says salute family. And Mr. Depps is out there, says, salute family, London in the building. Shout out to London, man. Glad to see that you're here with Stormy this morning. And my man, brother Drew Titan, LLC, is out there, says, yes, sir. Salute, Sensei. Salute to you. Good to see you bright and early this morning, Drew. Got a little surprise for you. I'm glad you're out there, Drew, because when I show this new backdrop that I got on the show, it was actually with Drew in mind, because he and I laugh and talk behind the scenes, and there's some things that I'm going to introduce this morning. Well, one thing as far as my backdrop, but good to see you this morning. And who else we got out here? It's moving a little bit now. We got is that Underground Asylum out there. He says, good morning and salute to the Sensei, Stormybman in chat. Salute to you as well, brother. 704 Joe is out there saying, jab the like button is free. Yes, sir. Thank you for that. 704 Joe. Pumping it up with the juice this morning. But yeah, man, these call-in shows are pretty cool. And I typically like to warm things up as we, open up the show and everything. But I think that when I do that now, I'll kind of like maybe take 15, maybe 20 minutes to do that, and then open it up a little earlier than I have been, just to give other people an opportunity to get a call in. We got Sean out there is joining this morning. He says, salute OG, salute to you. And Drew, also thank you for your super chat donation this morning, brother. Appreciate you on the support. I had forgot to turn the alert on. That's why you didn't see it pop up on the screen, but the alert is on now. Again, OG forgets things sometimes. It's like, man, but my whole intro and everything, I reproduced that this morning. And it's its own thing now, so I can just hit a button and that'll play, and then I'll come in, which is what I should have been doing, but I was a little bit lazy about making those adjustments, but I finally did. We got Snacks B out there, says, good morning, big bro, Stormy B, man. Good morning to you. We got Curtis Price out there. He's saying, right on. That's right. Land of the 216 has joined channel member. He says, salute Stormy in chat. Salute to you. And shout out to the people who have joined the Stormybman channel this week. We've had several, and I didn't get a chance to go and look in the log and see exactly who is who, but I will definitely be mentioning you brothers and sisters on the air, because you're the wheel that helps make this whole process go, you see, and I want to acknowledge that. Gregory X is out there, and he says, greetings, brothers and sisters. Greetings to you. And Snacks B is out there as well, again, saying, good morning, chat and LDBC family. The Queen Lala D is out there, says, Stormy, what it do? Good to see you up this morning, Lala D. Did you have you some of that Garrett's popcorn recently? I had some couple of days ago, and man, I'm gonna tell you, ain't nothing like some snack food, Garrett's Popcorn. Tell them about it, Lala D. You can write it in the chat. Let these people know what they missing. Snacks B is out there, and he has also joined as a member of the channel. He is at the Todai, which is the beginning level, and that's all good. You still get a chance to enjoy a lot of the features that Stormy will be offering. So welcome to the family, Snacks B. Appreciate you joining. Yes, sir. That's the Earl Spence Jr. greeting for Snacks B becoming a member. So that's right. When you become a member, you get a personal greeting by Earl Spence Jr. out there. That's how we do it around here. We want people to be acknowledged, man. And that's what we do. We take that time out to acknowledge you. Lot going on in the sport of boxing. And hopefully when we get calls today, we can, have people talk about that. It's a lot of things taking place that people are just not happy with. And I'll tell you, Stormy ain't too happy with it either. You know what I mean? It's like we're seeing boxing literally shoot itself in the foot. And I don't think boxing even have a foot to stand on anymore. It's done shot itself so poorly in the foot. It's like, what's really going on? And we're going to have to talk about that as well. But take this quick moment to Drew Titan. If you're out there, I want to show you something. This is a little backdrop that I created for this talk show this morning. And Drew should know exactly what's up with this. Salute to Underground Asylum out there greeting people. And Hamza S is out there saying salute Stormy B Man and chat room. Lala D says, yes, Stormy, Garrett's popcorn is so good. Most people order the mix of cheddar and caramel. Whatever you're imagining, it's about 10 times better. That's right. If we don't have anything in the Chi, Lala D, we got good food. I'm going to tell you. That's why there's so many fat folks around in Chicago. I'm going to tell you. And then it gets really good when you go outside your own culture and start tasting some of those delights from other cultures, man. It's like, man, you get to eating up some stuff, man. Drew Titan going to be yelling at you, move! And the only thing you're going to do is move to the next selection to put on your plate. That's right. That's what it is right there, man. That's what it is. But, yeah, welcome everybody coming in. I see you guys. And Drew is out there laughing. Hey, Drew, you check out that backdrop, man. You like that? That's specifically something I designed for this show, man. It's like, that's my quote there. You're going to start seeing it on some of my merchandise and everything. But it's so funny, man. I was thinking about this, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I put it out there so you guys could see it. Underground Asylum says, is this popcorn in stores or only in Chicago? It's in Chicago, and surprisingly, it gets shipped, around the country, underground. You could actually go online and order Garrett's popcorn, and they'll ship it to you. So that's the wonderful thing about that. You can go online and order it. So you could try that, and I guarantee you will not be disappointed, man. That popcorn is something. You remember when Dave Chappelle had his show, and he said every time they want to do something and catch and trip up black people in, and they sprinkle a little crack on it. They must sprinkle a little crack on that damn Garrett's popcorn, man, because that stuff is addicting. I don't care if you just get the butter movie theater kind. Man, that popcorn, how you lipping your fingers and everything. It's like, it's that good. I'm telling you. And Lala D is out there now. She could tell you, she come to Chicago and start trying this stuff out, man. If you can't do nothing here, you can eat. I'm going to tell you. That's what it is. That's what it is. But, yeah, I just put that up there so you guys can check out that new backdrop that Stormy put up there. But yeah, we just try to keep everything really cool. I don't have to have my headphones on now. I got the little backdrop with the headphones there on the wall because that's kind of like my little bit of a trademark. So and I do it my own little special way. So, but yeah, let's talk about some boxing, huh? Talk about some boxing. We had a card yesterday afternoon broadcast on DAZN, and that card was featuring Josh Warrington in the main event, taking on Mauricio Lara in a rematch that from a fight from earlier this year that saw Warrington get stopped inside the distance. Lara was supposed to be, in their mind, a stepping stone of an opponent, but in that fight, he was able to take the fight to Josh Warrington, man, and he was able to really put it on him. And I'm going to tell you, this rematch, I was highly anticipating Lara getting him out of there again, because the way he stopped Warrington in the first fight was very, how can I say, it was very much a part of the action that was taking place. It was like Warrington, his style is made for a fighter like Lara. And Lara, it has the aggressive, typical Mexican style, the heavy on the left hooks, but he crowds you. He fights well on the inside. He's a very rugged and determined fighter. Okay. All of which was a recipe for disaster for Warrington, who doesn't have punching power. So he went in there trying to be a tough guy and found himself getting bested on the inside. Then when he tried to back out and box from the outside, Lara started hunting him down, and he caught him with some short, beautiful shots, and he dropped Warrington. He beat the crap out of Warrington in their first fight. So in my Friday night chop session, I was saying that I expected this fight to go the same way, But lo and behold, here comes this guy, Warrington, who brought out one of the old caveman tactics. He used his head. Okay, intentional headbutts sprinkled throughout the entire first round of the fight. I immediately knew that this was going to be his objective, to try to bang Lara to the point where he gets him off his game plan with these headbutts, which were intentional, spearing headbutts. And the referee, by the way, was not saying anything. He wasn't penalizing. He was just telling them to watch their heads. But the fight was fought in Leeds, UK. Okay. And from what I understand, Warrington is from Leeds. So they were literally fighting in his backyard. Okay. So the referee was not going to penalize him or anything. The first couple of headbutts in the first round, you see they bothered Lara. He was like, hey, man, what's up? Tell this guy to watch his head. But in round two, Lara came out. I guess his cornerman had gave him the proper talk, right? The pepping. And he came out with a different type of aggression, and he started landing those left hooks on Warrington, who immediately went into spearing with his head again, so much to the degree that he opened up a real terrible cut over the left eye of Lara. And the fight, when the round ended, the fighters went back to their corner, and they had the doctor look at that cut, and it was like, there's no way he can continue this fight. No way. That cut was totally open. I remarked last night, it was almost like you could see the bone under the scar. So they called the fight. and it ended up being basically a no contest, or whatever. But the objective by Warrington, who is a coward of a fighter for going through with this process, and yes, I'm laying into him because there's a difference between, incidental head contact and clashing. And then there's a difference between guys who use their heads tactically to, gain an advantage of beating you to a spot and stuff like that. Evander Holyfield was guilty of that. But when a guy is actually using his head as a weapon, now that I'm like, no. This man had no confidence in being able to defeat this guy in a 12-round distance fight because in the first fight, the guy had beaten him down and broken him down very well. And Lara, with only 7 knockouts in 30-plus fights, there was no way he was going to be able to, knock the guy out. That's not something that he's known for. So he need to bring something else. And since the highlight is so keen on illegal gloves and everything and hand wraps these days, that's definitely out of the question, right? So what's the next thing? You use these old school barbarian tactics of using your head. Now, there are guys who have come up, and I'm just going to be honest about this, from the Eastern European side of boxing. They know all too well about that. It becomes a thing where it's like, 1, 2, 3, put the head in there as well. And some men, they have the type of head that it doesn't bother them, especially when they're initiating, because when you're initiating it, you can actually brace for impact. But when you're the recipient of it, it's catching you unknowingly, and it can discombobulate you. It could cause you confusion. You could get a concussion behind it. And sometimes it'll totally take you off of your game because you're worried about that more than protecting yourself in a natural boxing position and whatnot. And they gain an advantage of opening up opportunities to score against you because you're worried about your head, So again, that's why I'm slamming Warrington, because as a championship caliber fighter from the UK, one of their respected and top fighters, he knows these things. He knows. That's what makes it so bad. You understand? It's not like he's a young guy coming up with like 18 to 20 fights and he's doing these things haphazardly or whatever. No, this man knows, bro. He knows. So I don't like it, and I have to call him on it. You know what I mean? So that's why, Stormy is saying what he's saying about that. But salute to Lara. He's going to have to go and get healed up. Hopefully he can get a very good physician that can stitch that up for him. But now he has to deal with this going forward. And he may be a fighter that, if that cut opens up a lot or something, it's like it's going to be damaging to his career. And he's only 23 years old. You see? And the way Warrington spoke after the fight with the interviews, he didn't sound too enthusiastic about meeting him up in a third fight. He sounded disappointed that he couldn't get going what he had intended for this fight because he jumped the gun, as I said last night. He was so worried that this guy might knock him out, so he started doing these brash things and took the fight away from the fans and everything. So shame on him. He's a disgraceful fighter, and I'll never look at him the same again. Josh Warrington. To hell with that guy. Let's see. Going back to the chat for a moment. Let's see. Let's see. Lala D says, it's so weird having another fighter named Lara. There's only one Lara for me. He says, but he's getting up in age. Well, Lala D, watch this young kid, Mauricio. He's pretty good. And the way he beat up on Warrington in their first fight, if you haven't had a chance to see it, go back and watch it. It's on YouTube. You can pull up that Josh Warrington, and it's a matchroom fight, so you might have to check it out on the Zone replay or something. But it's up there. But he performed very well. You would have thought, if you didn't know the names of the guys and they went into that fight, you would have thought he was the champ. That's how he performed. She says, I hear this Lara is damn good. Yes, he is. And Hamza says, Sakio Bika did it too. Even Kodo used his head. Bernard too. Yeah. A lot of the guys, that's an old school tactic, man. It's an old school tactic. And it was taught. But I'm sorry, I'm not a advocate of that kind of thing. I believe in protecting yourself at all times and being safe, because you can actually be on the wrong end of a headbutt, trying to headbutt someone else. And then what do? Huh? If you had never initiated that crap, then you wouldn't be in that position, would you? So, yeah. Lala D says, Hamza S. Damn, I like Bika too, of all the African fighters. Hamza says, I liked Evander, but he did it too. It's professional boxing, but I don't condone it. Yeah, but you can warn, you could have those officials take note of that stuff and demand points be taken and guys even be disqualified, because it's damaging. But headbutting has been going on a lot. It's like, it's not just starting now. Like I said to you before, it's an old school tactic that they would break out, D-Lo 404 Boxing is out there. He says, salute Stormy, salute to you. And Jason is out there, says, what's good with you, Jason? Lala D says, hey, Gary Russell Jr. versus Lara. Who you got, Stormy? Hey, man, that's a good fight. Gary ain't fought in a while. I would like to see how he's going to look, because when guys are sitting on the shelf collecting cobwebs like he does, now I know he works out in the gym and everything, but live action fight is another thing. And he's getting nothing but older. And Father Time, the last time I checked, Manny Pacquiao, is undefeated. Huh? Father Time is undefeated, man. So you have to respect boxing and respect age in boxing. Snacks B say, I never liked B-Hop because of that. D-Lo says, Porter used his head a bunch versus Berto. Victor Ortiz likes to lead with the head as well. Yeah, there's a number of guys out here, Yeah, man. Lala D says, D-Lo 404, Mayweather had to tell Ortiz to stop that, literally. Yeah, you know what I mean? Come on, man. See, if they get you caught up in thinking about that, now you ain't thinking about boxing, and then they could do other stuff to you, because that's what their intent is the whole time, instead of trying to box with you. You see? It's a dirty game, man. It's a dirty game. So, but we've seen it. But I'm going to go ahead and open up these call lines, and let's see if we can get some things kicked off talking about the subject of boxing this weekend. You don't necessarily have to talk about this fight or this card. I know there may be some people out there who are looking to talk about Oscar Valdez and what's transpired with him being in the news this week. We can talk about that as well. You know what I mean? We got a big heavyweight fight coming up where you're going to see the return of Anthony Joshua in the ring defending his unified titles against Alexander Usyk, former cruiserweight undisputed champion. So listen, we got a lot to talk about. All we need is for you guys to dial that number right there. It's on the screen for you, and we can get to chopping on the subjects at hand. Hamza says, watch how SOG used to deal with it. SOG was prepared for any scenario in the ring. That's why he was the best of his era, as Stormy B, man. Well, yeah, Andre Ward was a very good fighter. Can't take that away from him. Being the best of his era, I don't know about that. But very good fighter. Very good fighter. Yeah. D-Lo says, the worst thing a fighter could do was get dirty with Ward. He had a remedy for that. Yep. Well, you're supposed to. You see? You're supposed to be prepared to deal with, what presents in the ring. Boxing is barbaric to a certain degree, and you have to deal with barbaric intents with extreme barbaric, resolution. You don't. In boxing, it's like this. Look, don't start nothing, it won't be nothing. That's what it's got to be out there in boxing. When you draw that line in the sand and say, hey, this is how we're gonna do this. Now, when someone steps over that line and say, well, I want to introduce you to a few tricks I brought back from China, like in the Kung Fu films, right? And that's when you say, okay, I'm going to introduce you to a few tricks I brought back from Russia, or Germany. And then, hey, escalates World War III. That's it in a nutshell. That's it. Boli Boli is out there. He says, 3 weeks from the Joshua fight. Lala D says, Bud versus Porter. Porter ain't going to fight Bud, man. There's something going on with that right there. Why those two guys don't want to get their butts in the ring with each other, man? Huh? They're like two. You ever had a magnet and you turn it around and when the magnet is on the magnetized side, it'll click, click like that. But when you turn it on this opposite end and you try to put them together, there's a force of energy that pushes them apart, right? Now, I'm not a scientist. I don't know what that's called or whatever, But that's Porter and Bud. They put them in the pond and they swim toward each other and they go, and they repel. They go back away from each other. What is that all about, man? Come on. Lala D is saying, AJ, please beat Usyk. Please beat Usyk, she says. Let's see, we got our first caller of the day. Who we got? Okay, good morning, 518. We out there. Who do we have? Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, Stormy? This is Kieran calling back once again.
Oh, Kenan? Okay, what's good with you, man? Glad to hear from you again.
Yeah, I wanted to call to see if I could maybe talk about the subject about the Oscar Valdez situation.
Sure. Go ahead. What's on your mind?
Yeah, well, first off, I just want to say the WBC is purely evil, and I really can't believe that, I just basically witnessed, live cheating in front of me. But I just find it very surprising how the WBC played, I guess, like a huge double standard in allowing Oscar Valdez to fight for, his title defense. And I wanted to get like your thoughts on it per se, because like I truly believe that Oscar Valdez, he should be prosecuted and if not, definitely stripped. And I would probably say the WBC should be, fined as well, with probably being charged with some form of punishment for not doing their job.
Listen, man, you're speaking and preaching to the choir, okay? I've let my sentiments be known about it. If you're watching my content, and if you're not, shame on you. You calling in to the call-in show. So get your butt in there and watch the Friday night chop sessions too, even if you got to catch it on replay, and watch some of my breakdown videos, because I talk about this stuff all the time. But back to what you're addressing. Yes, the WBC have gotten way beyond the realm of being on the level organization. Now, let's take a walk down memory lane. You remember when Franchon Cruz Discern fought that woman, Jimenez, who came into that fight like a man, basically, because she's transitioning. She's a woman who lost a great deal of weight and started taking performance-enhancing drugs and everything, and also testosterone, because she's trying to transition from a woman to a man. But she's still allowed to box professionally. And Franchon Cruz Discern said that it was like fighting a man in there. She sparred men who were not as strong as that woman. Let me backtrack on that statement. She has fought men who were not as strong. She sparred men in the gym preparing for fights who were not as strong as that woman that she had to face with her titles on the line. And not only did the woman unjustly get the victory over Franchon, but she also popped dirty. But Mauricio Sulaiman, he spoke like the people, the public was like crazy. Okay. And he made a remark about her A sample and everything. Well, we got a B sample. And she tests positive on the B sample too. The woman's voice is deeper than mine. Okay. And the thing about it is he protected her like with no shield. He just protected her right off the bat. You could look at the woman and see that's not natural. Okay. But the way Sulaiman handled this, and then the length of time that it took to strip the woman of the belt and give it back to Franchon, it's just, there's no room for this. Look at what he's done with Canelo Alvarez. Canelo didn't want to fight certain fighters under the WBC rankings. He told them, take your belt and shove it. So what was Sulaiman's answer to that? Instead of stripping him and disgracing him for cheating, popping dirty, okay, from clenbuterol, he said, well, Canelo says he got it from eating from a street vendor's meat truck or whatever, so we'll just raise the levels of clenbuterol that can be discovered in your system when testing, and that'll make it okay. No, he popped dirty. Strip him, fine him, ban him from the sport for well over a year. Because when you take 6 months, these guys don't fight but every 9 months anyway. If that. So where's the punishment? On one hand, with Franchon, you're trying to say that the Mexican woman was okay. On this other hand, with Canelo Alvarez, you're saying it's okay. And don't forget, they even created the franchise tag for Canelo. And they gave a preposterous ruling on that, saying that, listen, you can't lose this status in the ring. Even if somebody knocks you the hell out, they can't take the franchise status for you. It's non-transferable. They do this type of thing to allow people who really under any normal circumstances won't be able to compete at the highest level of the sport, so they can still have a foot in the door. That's corruption. Because you have fighters who deserve to be there on the merits of their efforts, their hard work and labor and talent. And you push them to the side. Devin Haney was in position to challenge Vasily Lomachenko. This was way before the Teofimo Lopez fight. Vasily Lomachenko was supposed to fight a guy, and then Devin was supposed to fight the winner because he was the number one contender. Vasily went to the people and asked for franchise labeling, okay? So, because he didn't want to fight Devin Haney. He just totally evaded him. What about WBC champion Gary Russell Jr.? He's been the champion for what, 6 or 7 years now? And he only fights basically once a year because he's fighting the number one contenders. And a couple of them have vacated the number one contender status and moved on because they don't want to get in the ring with him. And it's not like Mr. Gary Russell Jr. is Mike Tyson brutally knocking people out. But he's a skillful fighter with fast hands, good lateral movement, a decent chin, and he can box. Boxing has slipped under ethics so much that they would rather sell you a guy who can't punch his way out of a wet paper bag like Ryan Garcia. They would rather sell you someone like that than Mr. Gary Russell Jr., who's a world champion and who's willing to put it online against the best. But the best don't want to get in there with him. And the I keep saying Jose, but the Mauricio Suleimans and guys like that, they don't make the fights happen. They don't put the gauntlet down and the mandate that says, hey, you got to do this or you can't be in our organization. No, he's creating avenues and paths off-road so these others can exist in the sport. When Deontay Wilder lost his second fight to Tyson Fury, he just asked that things be looked at. Something wasn't right. Mauricio Suleiman's immediate response was, people are crazy. Why would you want to take one of the greatest nights in boxing history? What? Tyson Fury beating Deontay Wilder was one of the greatest nights in boxing history? Why? Because a white guy beat a black guy? Beat a black guy? Tyson Fury isn't one of the greatest fighters in boxing history. But I'll tell you this, Deontay Wilder, who had 10 title defenses and had reigned respectfully wearing that belt around his waist, had 10 title defenses and represented the sport well, wasn't in any police blotters or get caught up in some kind of, nefarious dealings or anything like that. The man, you didn't even hear about him when he was in boxing. It was time for him to box. Here he comes. That's the knockout king. But Fury's victory over him was one of the greatest nights in boxing history. And this is from Mauricio Suleiman. Those were his words. Then he lied saying that he was in the dressing room with them when they were getting their hands wrapped and everything. So he didn't see anything going wrong. He didn't see anything going wrong because he wasn't even there. So yes, the WBC leads the pack. And I could go on and on and on. But yes, they lead the pack in corruption. And anyone who holds a WBC belt or status should really rethink where they are and the type of representation, because they don't protect fighters as a community of fighters. They use bias and prejudices in their judgments. And it's wide open with that. It is blatant in your face. And then they turn around and tell you, you're stupid. And they know better than you. The fact that they're letting this man fight to defend a title after testing positive for a banned substance. Let me ask you this, chat, Kanan, and everybody that may catch this on replay or whatever. If it's a banned substance, why is he being allowed to fight? Are you telling me that there's no such thing as a banned substance? Or are you telling me there's no such thing as accountability in the sport, where you might have to take a man who is of a certain ethnicity and you're trying to hold these people up in a place of regard that you give to no one else? Did Big Baby Miller not test positive a couple of years ago? And it's been a couple of years since he last fought. he's been banned from the sport for testing positive with multiple banned substances in his blood test. But what about this guy right here? Right here today. And they say the show must go on. This is bull crap. Now, am I trying to put down the ethnic and national class of people that Oscar Valdez represents? Absolutely not. But what I am saying is the WBC is an official, biased organization that only looks from within and not externally. When you talk about a world championship, when you talk about a world title, that's global representation. That could be anyone. You could be from Ghana. You can be from Germany. You can be from Russia. You can be from the UK. You could be from Australia. It doesn't matter. It's worldwide. But you only make provisions for a certain class of people? That's biased. That's prejudiced. So my thoughts on this is this man should not be allowed to fight. He should be allowed to sit on the sidelines for at least over a year. And he should be fined up the wazoo. And not just a little chump change, something that will hit him in the pockets to say, well, damn, I really need to fight again. Because that's when you'll start thinking about not going through with this kind of thing. And he should be stripped. And as soon as he's physically capable, the man that he last defeated, Miguel Berchelt, should be able to fight for that title against someone else in that organization, the number 2, number 3 fighter. He should be able to fight for his title back. Because I'm betting to Will that this man was dirty in that fight as well. And what he was popping dirty for is a substance that is a masking agent, that can act as a masking agent for other worse products, PEDs, that you can put in your system. And then he has the gall to go online and sit up and tell the public that he's not dirty. Man, if you don't sit your ass down somewhere, who you think you talking to? You're dirty. And everybody in the Reynoso camp is dirty. Reynoso is dirty. In a sport where we watch people die, several times a year, someone is victimized in the sport of boxing, not just from the actions that take place in the ring, but they're victimized by these promoters, managers, commissioners, and sanctioning bodies. Victimized. So fighters are always fighting an uphill battle. And then you got someone who wants to put something in their body because they don't want to work hard. You got somebody who want to put something in their body because they just may not be that damn talented. You got somebody who wants to put something in their body because sometimes they just enjoy the effects and the feel of it. Corruption, poor ethics. You have to call a spade a spade. We're living in a society now where the scales of justice have been turned on its end. And you could be the very next person victimized by corrupt authority. We see it in politics every day, don't we? And I said this, Stormyman's principles on boxing can always be applied to everyday life outside the ring, because every day is a struggle. Every day is a battle. And you don't stand a chance when someone is stacking the deck against you. When there's no law, there's no authority running against those who break the law and push past authority. Those are my thoughts on that, Kenan. You got something else to say, brother?
Yeah, I just want to say to hell with Oscar Valdez. I really hope you do go to prison. I think the WBC needs to be investigated by a federal court. Also, same thing with Canelo's team. I think like, every single one of those fighters need to be purely investigated. And I think this needs to be exposed more at a much higher level. And I'm happy enough that even some guys like Timothy Bradley, he actually spoke out on it out of ESPN and Andre Ward. But if more people like that can come together and, hold everyone accountable, then I would definitely be having more faith into the sport of boxing, fixing itself more.
Yeah, the only thing is you don't need people like Tim Bradley or Andre Ward with their sometimes do, sometimes don't type of take on things. You have to be consistent. Otherwise, you're just like the WBC. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't give a damn what Tim Bradley thinks. I don't give a damn what Andre Ward thinks, because they've already told and showed what they are about. So I listen to them as much as I want to listen to someone pass gas. You feel me? I want to get to the super chats that came in while I was cooking there. We had a super chat donation come in from, I'm sorry, I have to go back up here and read it. Boli out there in that super chat. Salute to you, Boli, and thank you for your super chat. He says, this sets the precedence for Fury to juice out of the competition before the Wilder fight. Absolutely. The Wilder fight with Fury, third fight, is not going to take place. Fury's going to avoid that fight. Snacks B also in that super chat. Appreciate you, Snacks B, for coming out there, showing support for the channel and the show. He says, speak on it, big bro, 100. You know it. I'm going to speak on it, but I don't like having to speak about this. I like speaking about the fights, the X's and the O's, and people getting up and getting knocked down. But they twist your hand at this. It's ridiculous. When someone, you know what this is like? A robber trying to break into your house on a Saturday afternoon, you at home watching football or whatever, right? And they trying to come through the window, and you sitting in the living room where the window is, and they trying to come right through the window. This is what that's like. Because they've gotten to the point where we don't even need to mask it. Let's just go. Let's do what we're going to do. The boxing people, they don't care. They don't, really? Well, let that person step his foot through my window and see what happens. Huh? You ever heard of Dirty Harry? Yeah. That's what happens. I just paint that picture for you. Make my day. Huh? Mm-hmm. So those are my thoughts on that, man. And I don't think that the WBC is going to be challenged at any time soon, but the outcry and the decree of the people, the voices of people who support the sport, who have active family in the sport, the people who pay for the shows and the tickets to the venues and everything, when they're tired and they say no more, enough is enough, that's when something can happen. Until then, you just get to hear Stormyman's take on it and some of the other brothers out here and sisters out here in the community that create content. But then you have people telling us that we don't know what we're talking about. Telling us that we have agendas. The whole point of this call-in show is for us to be able to talk about subjects just like this. How is that an agenda? It's giving people a chance to voice, like Kenan, calling in and saying, hey, you know what? I don't like this, man. And you want to know something, Kenan? They watch. They watch our content. They watch our shows. They watch. Valdez is probably out there right now, mean mugging the screen of whatever he's watching it on. But he need to be mean mugging his mirror. You understand? Because he's the one that did this to himself. I spoke very well of him when he had his victory over Miguel Burchell. Now you turn around and everything now is questionable. Everything now has an asterisk. Isn't the old saying, once a cheater, always a cheater? Isn't that the old saying? Now, that doesn't mean once you've cheated, you will always cheat. But once a cheater, always a cheater, because you cheated that time, right? So that's what that is. And Valdez has to live with that, not us. So if you have any final thoughts or if you have anything else you want to ask, you can go ahead, bro. Otherwise, we're going to, allow someone else to call in. And I appreciate you calling in.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. I love watching your content. And my final thoughts is that if you get into any sport in the world, your legacy does not equal you cheating. Cheaters don't define legacy in sports. People that play the sport clean and dedicate their life, energy, and passion to it is what makes people into world champions, in that sport. And for Oscar Valdez to decimate his career this way, this is a really bad image for the sport of boxing. And this is not going to get any better if nobody doesn't talk about it. And there needs to be more exposure on it so that way people can, have a better influence to innovate the sport, away from the corruption more.
Absolutely. And you can take this stream right here and you could share it on your social media. You could share it on different platforms, Twitter, wherever you want to share it. Share it because it's a conversation about something that needs to be spoken about. That's the power that you have. Use it.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right, bro. Appreciate you calling. Please call back again.
Yep.
All right. Peace.
Thank you very much. Bye. Bye.
All right. Very good call to open up the show. I know it went a little longer, but people, what needs to be said has to be said. So that's how we'll handle that. And salute to Kenan for calling in from, I think he's from the UK or something. He's from outside the US. So good call. Got another one coming in. We got 651 in the building. 651, welcome to the call-in show, man. Good morning.
What's going on, brother? It's 651, that's Minnesota. It's your man, Artman Boxing in the building.
All right. Art man, how you doing, bro? Good to hear you this morning.
I'm doing good, brother. I was just listening to the show. I don't know if you heard of me, but I'm really active on Twitter.
You know I've heard of you, bro.
and
Come on, don't even do that.
Yeah.
I'm even subscribed to your channel, man. Don't do that. Don't try to make no. I gotta get you on this one, y'all. You hear Art Man coming on here saying, I don't know if you know who I am. Come on, bro.
You know, I just gotta let him know. But okay, you know who I am. So yeah.
I even sent you a message that you haven't responded to. Here's my jab back at you. Because I sent you a message that you hadn't responded to. I said we need to do a collaboration because I'm an artist too. But I never heard back from you, bro.
Probably because I got two different Instagrams and stuff like that, and then I get a lot of crazies sending me messages too. So I probably didn't recognize your name on there. But
yeah, you didn't recognize my name, Stormybman. You ain't recognize that. Okay, I'm done ribbing you. Let's get to the reason why you called.
So the reason why I'm calling is because it's just very interesting. This topic. Are you just talking about this topic, or can we go a little bit to Wilder versus Fury 3? Because that is an upcoming fight.
We can discuss. You know, it's a call-in show, man. Whatever's on your mind. This was just what we kicked off with today, but we don't have to stay in that lane.
The first thing on my mind with that Valdez fight is, have you been hearing people complain about Vada and USADA or whoever took the blood test? Have you been hearing things about them not being legitimate? Because I've been hearing people say, oh, well, we shouldn't trust VADA because VADA, they're scientists or whatever. This performance-enhancing drugs is allowed in a different organization, but it's just not allowed in their organization. Have you been hearing things like that?
I know that things like that are being said, but, I take that with a grain of salt as well, because you have to understand the protection bureaus for these fighters, they run deep, man. They'll come up with excuses and counter remarks to protect their own interests, even when they don't have any stake in what's being said or done. But they'll create chaos and rumor and things of that nature just to keep people off track, bro.
Just to keep it, and that's what I said myself, because I said, dude, I don't care who took the blood test. I want to know, does this Phetamine, does it require a prescription? Yes or no? And then I want to know, does this enhance your performance? Yes or no?
Well, how about this one? It's banned. Period. Period. It's banned. So if it's banned, what the hell is it doing in your body, bro? You're a professional fighter. You're under testing. I can see if you didn't sign up for testing, then it'll be a thing like, well, I never signed up for this, so I was taking something, blah, 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 right? But no, you're signed up under the drug testing program, and you took something and have it in your system that is banned. Not only that, when they tested you for your B sample, it's still dirty. So you're using something that is blacklisted. Yep. So you're wrong. Now, when you ran the light and the red light camera took your plate, you get that bill in the mail a couple weeks later. It's $200. You ran the light or whatever. And you're like, dang. But they got a picture of you driving, looking at the camera flash, and they zoomed in on your license plate too. So it's you, huh? Pay $200. That's right. That's the way it go. Now this guy, he went through the red light, huh? Camera took the picture, his plate, him at the wheel looking. He might have even smiled at the camera because he thought he was getting away with something, but it caught him. But he trying to say, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. What?
Yeah.
That is the plate is registered to you. Do you live at such and such blah 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 drive? Yeah. Do you drive a blah 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 blah? Yeah. Well, how is it not you, bruh? Well, it wasn't me. And then somebody else will come along. Now these are the people that you were just talking about the drug testing organizations and stuff, they come along and say, well, how you know it was him in the car? It's his car. When we zoomed in the photo, it was him with his hand on the wheel smiling at the camera. Well, he was at my house that day. He wasn't even what? So you gonna lie for him just like he lied and said it wasn't him. You see how it goes? This is where we are in life. This is where we are. People will, wasn't me. And then people will pick up and say, well, he said it wasn't him. It wasn't him. It's like we got him on tape, but he said it wasn't him. Remember the R. Kelly thing? It wasn't him. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It's you. It's on the camera right there. It's you, bro. The light beaming off the top of your bald head. That's you, R. Kelly. That's you.
And that's the funny part about it, man. At this point, I'm just like, it's whatever. But on to the next topic. Wilder versus Fury 3 and the fans' reaction, man. Like I said, I'm very vocal on Twitter. And one thing I've noticed, and I spoke to Malik Scott on my YouTube about it, I said, man, these Fury fans, or, so-called boxing fans, they say they're now not interested in Wilder versus Fury 3. It's boring now. I don't want to see it no more. They're telling me. I'm like, what? You don't want to see it no more. You just wanted to see this man fight Anthony Joshua. Okay, now he's fighting another elite heavyweight. You don't want to see that. That's what they telling me, man. And I just find it so ridiculous. Like, yo.
But hey, all right, man, let me ask you this. Yeah. Why do you think that they don't want to see it no more? Come on, give it to me.
Because it's Judgment Day. I just call it Judgment Day because that's when all the talk, all the chatter about how he couldn't do this, he couldn't fight on the back foot, all that. Tyson Fury has to answer all that, and he got to defend all those asinine.
I'm loving it. Please elaborate. Hey, how about all these clips that's being released of Wilder training and stuff? He looking like one of those vignettes from a Rocky movie, ain't he?
He in there.
You know when Rocky goes back into training for the rematch, and the music is playing and everything.
The music playing. He running uphill screaming. Yep. And they know it, and they sit back like, man, and they can't even. Here's the funny part: they can't even tell us what's going on in Tyson Fury camp because Tyson Fury, he don't even want to communicate with y'all.
And he ain't training. If you seen Tyson Fury's clips and vignettes, he's at a club somewhere. He's out drinking and turning up beer bottles. He's dancing on top of tables. He's at car dealerships and stuff. He's spreading the C-19 everywhere. This is how he's doing it. Okay? And that right there, it's like, wow. Now, I've said this before. Deontay Wilder's story is the stuff of movies. He's the guy that they should have made a movie about him. Now, if this third fight comes off, you're really going to have a great ending to that film because I know what's coming, right? All we need to do is have them get in the ring. I know what's coming. But see, those people that you were just talking about, I'm not even interested in that fight no more. It doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't do anything for you because it's going to rip you a new one. It's going to tell you what life is really about, That you can get away, that you can get by, but you don't get away, You have to pay for what you do in life. You do.
Yep.
And there is a thing called penance, okay? And ain't nobody ever shown this to Tyson Fury. But you said it right perfectly, brother. Judgment Day is coming.
Judgment Day.
It's coming.
I find it so crazy. I posted on Twitter. I said, this is my second plane ticket to go see Wilder versus Fury 3 that I just bought. But I said, this time I put insurance on my ticket.
Listen, and if he don't show up for this one, the people gon', as Deontay Wilder said, tear his ass up. The people gonna tear his ass up. Cause it's like, ain't nobody playing with Fury, man. If he don't show his butt up for this third fight, somebody gonna get him. And it ain't gonna have nothing to do with boxing. And I'm gonna be right here sipping tea.
Yep. I'm gonna be right here relaxing. Waiting for my my turn to sign my name on this class action lawsuit.
There you go. There you go.
That's all I'm saying. Shit. What makes me what convinced me that Tyson Fury may not show up is what his father is saying. His father's being very vocal. His father said if camp is going by right, then Fury's gonna win easy. And then it dawned on me, I said, if camp is going by right, what do you mean? The fight is in like 30 days. You should be knowing by now how the camp is going.
That's because, man, I'm going to tell you something, and I don't mean to try to damper anybody's spirits, all right, man, and this is for real 100. But I don't think it's going to happen because that is not who he is as a person. If he shows up for the third fight to get, his head handed to him, good for him. I'm not going to salute him because he's not worthy of being saluted, but he's supposed to. But I think they will still find a way to not obligate and cooperate. That's what I think, because that's who he's been his entire career. And if he does so happen to stand up to be a man, he's going to get knocked down. You understand? And I'll tell you something. Those kind of people, and I'm talking about the Fury type people, the cheaters and this and that, the worst thing you could do is strip them on the world stage in front of everybody, pull his dirty drawers off and everything, and everybody look at him and say, see, look at him. See how nasty he is? Look at it. See, he don't want that. He don't want that. But if you call him that behind his back and when he out the ring and everything, he could live with that. But for somebody to draw that curtain back on him when he's in that ring, that's what they don't want. That's what they don't want. You could always run the tape back on that. Just like we could run that tape back in that first fight and you realize he was knocked out and they gave him a chance to get up and everything, but that fight should have been waved off. I've seen Jack Reese wave off a fight in the first round. Guy get knocked down like that, he count to 4 and waved it off in the first round. So you mean to tell me in the 12th round of a fight with a devastating puncher that Deontay Wilder is, who already dropped a man twice earlier, then in the 12th round when he puts him down flat on his back and his eyes are fixed to the light on the ceiling, he's not even blinking. He's like making breathing noises, according to the ref. You don't wave it off. You lean over in his ear and start yelling the count in his ear that you didn't even pick up from when he hit the canvas. You picked it up on your own accord, which they always have a guy outside the ring counting and a guy inside the ring. That's the ref. So he blew it on all fronts. But we got the tape. We got the video of that. We could watch it 1,000 times. The man was knocked out. Highlight reel knockout. Y'all robbed this champion of his legacy, and this is what it was supposed to be, because you don't want that. Larry Merchant brought his dead ass out of the coffin to appear on PBC the next day, saying, today I woke up with a smile on my face. Why? Because the black heavyweight champion of the world lost to a white guy?
Of course. Of course.
That's not biased. That's not prejudiced.
He still hurt.
It wasn't biased and prejudiced when he told Floyd Mayweather Jr., if I was 50 years younger, I'd kick your ass. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is the best fighter in the world at the time that you speaking these words to his face disrespectfully, and HBO didn't even think about firing him?
Because it's entertainment. But you know what it is? He's happy. He's happy he get to finally see a white man beat a black man, because his old ass was there watching Joe Louis beat up on Max Schmeling. He was probably there, 40 years old.
Yeah, he was sitting ringside. Max damn near fell in his lap. He was sitting right there on the ring apron.
That's why he excited. But you know, it's all good, man, because like I said, Judgment Day, man. You know, what's so funny with me, man, is that these people, they really sat there and thought that Wilder was going to be in a position where he wasn't going to get his third fight. They cheered on that stuff, man. And that's why they hate me so much on Twitter, because I was telling them, like, man, you know how shameful it is for you guys to celebrate a possibility of a champion not getting what, or a former champion not getting this rightfully owed trilogy match? Man, now when I go on Twitter and speak, they just shut up and just listen. Because what can they really tell me? Because I sat there and told these folks that Wilder's going to get his opportunity. But the way it's looking, man, Tyson Fury might just forfeit that belt. But either or is a victory to me, because the public will finally see what this guy is really made of.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't wait, brother. Most definitely. And I'm going to be there. I got my plane ticket, you know. Hopefully he show up. If he don't, I feel bad for whoever's the replacement fighter that night. Shit.
I hope it goes. I hope it goes off for everyone that has had a chance to redeem and get a chance to get a ticket for the fight. I want that, and I want the love and support for Wilder to be out there. But dude, it's like, I'm glad you got your stuff insured, because that's what you're gonna have to do now with some of these guys. Not all of them, but some of them. And Fury is one, and you know, you've seen some of the others. You got Ryan Garcia out there. You've got what's his name, Teofimo out there. You know, this guy Fury. It's like there's a few fighters that you have to be insured when you're considering what they're doing, because they don't toe the line of ethic very well at all. Yeah. So,
man, how do you feel? Okay, let's say Tyson Fury does show up. How do you think that fight plays out?
If he shows up?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're asking if he shows up?
If he does show up, how do you see it playing out?
He goes down.
Yeah, if he shows up, how do you see the fight playing out?
He goes down.
First round, 2 rounds?
It's like, did you ever see the Avengers film? Did you ever see the Avengers film Endgame? Huh?
Yeah, all of them.
Okay. Well, in the Endgame film, they came up with this saying, whatever it takes. Huh? Yeah.
Yep.
Whatever it takes. And I believe it's going to take Deontay putting his hands on this guy. But it's not going to be the wild and, you know, free swinging and winging shot guy that you saw before. This is going to be a technical thing that takes place. And it's probably going to look like Joe Louis and Max Schmeling Part 2.
Yeah.
So whatever it takes, I don't care if he does it to him for 12 rounds and then puts his lights out, but I don't think he got 12 rounds to go, because what he's got to contend with is going to be so hot for him, he going to look to get out of there early. And when I say he looking to get out of there early, I'm talking about Fury.
Yeah. I think that Tyson Fury, he might get hit with a shot and survive, go back to his corner, and never leave that corner.
Listen, it could happen. Like I said, whatever it takes. I'm using the Avengers quote on this fight for Wilder, because that covers everything. Whatever it takes. Because they tried to do whatever they could to him in the second fight, didn't they? Ooh, did I say that? I absolutely did.
Yes, they did. You know, man, Stormy, we got to chop it up, man. Seriously, because I think, you know, the way I look at it, I feel like it was a grand scam on this big scheme to conspire against Wilder. And I honestly believe that they knew exactly how the American public was going to react to this white guy beating our champion by cheat. I feel like they took advantage of the racial discrimination here in this country.
Yep.
That the people wouldn't even second guess it.
And who was still in the White House at the time? You don't have to say the name, but I'm just saying. You see?
Oh, okay. I know.
Yeah. All of that went together, bro. And in Black History Month, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we can chop it up on that anytime. You in my description box down there is my email and everything, and even running along the ticker at the bottom. If you want to contact me directly or whatever, please feel free to do so, bro.
Yes, sir. I will. I'm going to head into that fight tonight in Minneapolis. I believe it's Ramos versus Mendoza.
Yeah.
I was at the last fight, the Michael Fox versus the guy, and I was front row when I seen that shit, man. Excuse my language, but I was front row when I was there. And, to see them cheat like that, face to face, it let me know this is real, man.
It lets you know that what you saw with Wilder, it wasn't improbable. You see? Because they did that in your face too. What they did to Wilder, they did it in our face, but it was masked by some other things. But what they did to Fox, and let's understand, Fox is not a top fighter yet. He's still a young prospect coming up.
Yeah.
He just happened to be in a televised bout where we got a chance to lay eyes on the circumstances, and our sensories are quite alerted due to what happened to Wilder.
Yep.
We're sick of this. We're sick of this. But listen, Art Man, I'm gonna cut it short. We will talk, brother, okay? But I want to give some other guys a chance to call before we end the show.
Most definitely.
And feel free to call back anytime on these call-in shows, bro.
You got to give me a ring so I can drop my link in the chat. I'm trying to get some 1,000 subscribers.
Okay, write something in the chat, and I'll wrench you up.
Okay, everybody go follow me on Instagram, YouTube, and all that, Artman Boxing, and check out my official website for boxing merch at artmanapparel.com.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Mr. B-Man.
All right, man. Peace to you. All right. Great call by Art Man. And we'll see when he posts in the chat there. I'll wrench him up. Okay, we got 919 in the house. What's good with you?
Yo, this is Anthony calling from North Carolina.
What's good with you, Anthony?
What's good? I'm blessed. How are you, King?
I'm doing very well, man. Glad to be here. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind is quite simple. Wilder is going to put Fury to sleep. He is going to put Fury to sleep. I mean, listen. As the days go by, I am more convinced that Fury cheated Wilder. And I say that because this is me. This is me. Say if me and you was fighting for the strap or whatever, right? And I beat you, and you come out and say that I cheated. First of all, that's an insult to me. Feel me? That's an insult to me. So I'm gonna give you the rematch immediately to prove that I'm the better fighter than you. I beat you fair and square, and after I beat you a lot worse than the first or the second time or how many other times we fought, guess what? I'm gonna sue you for defamation of character because like, yo, you playing with my livelihood right now, and you messing with my pockets, and I don't have no children, but assuming that I did, guess what? You taking food out my kid's mouth. I got to hurt you. Tyson Fury ain't do none of that. And what make it so bad that even his countryman is basically saying that he cheated. He ain't said nothing to neither one of them. So I was like, yeah, this guy cheated. And I am so sick and tired of everybody riding the Fury bandwagon. I am so sick and tired. I don't know about you, but I'm so sick and tired about that. Like, even my own brother, my blood brother, said that, yo, Fury's going to beat Wilder or whatever. Now, he said that he's not a Tyson Fury fan, but he knows he going to beat Wilder. I was like, no, watch. It's October the 9th is going to be a different Deontay Wilder. Watch what I tell you.
I agree with you. Excuse me. I agree with you, man. You see, what happened is this, and I've said this so many times talking about the sport of boxing. You know, fighters don't find out what they need to know about themselves a lot of times until they take a loss. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
When you're out here and you're fighting and you're knocking out everybody or you're besting everybody and your record is filled with multiple victories and no losses or defeats or anything like that, you can get the smell in yourself. But we don't get to find out what you're made of until not only are you challenged, but you suffer a setback in which you now have to overcome something. You have to overcome an obstacle that became a thorn in your side or something that veered you off course. And now you have to have a redemption act to put you back on track. Deontay Wilder was put in that situation in his second fight. And so rather than behave like a lot of people, remember Prince Nassim, after he lost to Marco Antonio Barrera, he just fell off the scene.
Yes.
He fought one more time against an opponent that he could definitely beat so he could go out with a victory, but he never fought again. And now he's like 200 and something pounds. He's 200 and something pounds walking around. But when he suffered that defeat to Marco Antonio Barrera, who soundly defeated him, soundly. Now, he was in other fights that guys were beating him and having success against him, but he was always able to pull it out with a knockout, you know, and knock a guy out. Well, against Barrera, the knockout would never come. Now you have to resort to competing. It says more about his character than anything that he never wanted to come back. And not necessarily against Barrera, because sometimes guys don't get that chance to fight the guy that bested them or whatever. But a lot of times guys will push for that particular fight. But to come back and show that I'm still here, I'm still who I was, I just had a bad night or whatever. Well, Wilder had to go to court against this man because he wanted that day in the sun. He wanted to show, oh, I had my wake-up call, and I can come back. I want to show this. But the way they've drawn it out, what they don't realize they've done is they've assisted him through this entire process. And not only has he gone back to the drawing board, but he's added some new details and written some new chapters in his book for his career. So even if it's not Fury that he next steps in the ring against, and I've said this, woe to the guy who it happens to be. Because those tapes that you got of him when he was fighting and knocking out everybody up to the Luis King Kong Ortiz fight and the 2 fights with Fury, that guy is gone. That guy is nowhere to be seen anymore going forward. This new fighter has a newly dedication to his craft. He has worked on some technical things. He has a new mindset. And he told you about that. He said, hey, when I was nice to people and I was, being, welcoming and inviting and this and that, this is how y'all did me. He was like, that dude is dead. I love it. Because
Me too.
sometimes
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, sometimes you have to go through trial and tribulation, bro, to come through renewed, reinvigorated, and to get to where God has placed you to be. You understand? And that's this man's story. So no matter what the Fury camp try to do, because they're trying to stave off that butt whooping, okay? But He's already defeated Fury. Look at him. Look at what he's done. The guy is his career is a sham now. It is. He squandered what could have possibly been, and one man who tried to help him and get him in a great place was Wilder. And look at what he did. You don't bite the hand that feeds you, bro. You don't do these kind of things. But again, these are life's lessons in the sport of boxing taking place. And I tell you all the time, Stormybman can always attribute what transpires in this sport in boxing and how you can apply and associate it with life outside the ring, because every day is a battle. Deontay Wilder is a living testament of that. He ain't laying down, complaining, putting on extra weight. Remember, they were trying to say that he was depressed and all of that. That man has been living his best life, but getting better all the while.
Mm-hmm.
And this is during an era. This is during an era when there are not many people who are maximizing and optimizing their opportunities in life. Remember that.
Oh yes. Oh yes. And to further more of your statements or whatever. And what I don't like is, first let me start off by saying that see, everybody is not like saying that he cheated or whatever, that Fury cheated, and the reason why because his quote unquote skills overshadowing the fact that he did cheat. So they don't want to look at the fact that he cheated. You know what I'm saying? Everybody blinded by the fact that he's 6'9". He can move around the ring for a guy his size or whatever. And what I didn't like is the fact that seems like everybody had a problem with Deontay Wilder wanting the rematch. I did not like that. I didn't have a problem with it. Give the man a chance to get his face back. You know what I'm saying? He was the champ before you took the title. And my whole thing is this: if the roles were switched, where Fury was the champion and Wilder, you know, if the roles were switched where they keep saying that Wilder cheated, they would have gave Fury the immediate rematch. Look, I mean, prime example. Look at the fight between Pryor and Agrello back in '82, when they suspected that Aaron Pryor had mixed something in his water or whatever.
Yeah.
Immediate rematch was ensued or whatever, and Pryor did beat him again. But my point is, if the roles had been switched, they would have gave Fury the immediate rematch.
Right.
But when Wilder wants the rematch, everybody seemed like they had a problem with it. And guess what? It's not Wilder's fault. It said so in their contract. You know what I'm saying? It says so in their contract. So yeah, Fury was obligated to face him a third time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's where
Yeah.
these people, that's why I said people like Joshua who were trying to intercede and say things like, oh, we had a deal done. And then, no, you didn't. You never had a deal done, because Wilder exercised his right for arbitrary ruling, since this man didn't want to meet his obligation that was contracted, you see. And so let it be a lesson to all. Again, see, you can listen to the rhetoric and understand this. AJ and old media, they never acknowledged that Wilder and Fury were going through arbitration. Why is that? They never acknowledged that. They never tried to say, well, everything is going to be put on hold until this takes place. They just kept saying stuff like, why don't Wilder step aside? And why don't Fury and AJ just go ahead and fight and stuff? But they kept making it like there wasn't something in the midst of this. And that's why they, with that type of disrespect, Wilder should never give those people an opportunity for access at him ever again. They lied on him. Then they turn around and tried to act like he wasn't a factor or a player. And then they try to even ridicule him by saying things like he's depressed and, is something wrong with him. And it's like, dude, there was never nothing wrong with the champ. There was always something questionable about Fury, even before the champ fought him. And you guys never even took the time out to write about it, speak about it, air it, expose it, just like they never did it about Sergey Kovalev. Okay? And there are some others. It's like here you're seeing the U.S. be exactly what it's always been. And that is a place where people of color have caught hell since they've been here. But someone who is not of that ilk can have free reign and privilege and live as they choose, even at the expense of someone else that is not like them. That's ridiculous.
On all levels, sir.
Absolutely.
On all levels, man. And not only that, like I said, I hope no. Ain't no hope. Deontay Wilder will put Fury to sleep October the 9th. And not only that, I want him to shut what's his pop's name? John Fury, that's his name.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury's pops.
Yeah.
Man, I want him. I also want him to shut up too, man. Because with his no fighting self, you know what I'm saying? He's a character. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of him putting his 2 cents. He's a WWE character. You know, that's what I compare him as. And then Deontay Wilder, and furthermore to your point where he says that he's depressed and he's bitter and all this other mess. They also say his career is over. How many times have we seen like the best fighters get put to sleep and they came out to be better fighters than ever?
Yeah.
How many times we seen that? And then on top of that, not only is Wilder gonna put Fury to sleep, I hope he end his career. I hope he in his career because we don't need cats like that cheating in boxing. We don't need that. That's dangerous for the sport. We don't need that. Then, which brings me to this point: how many other fighters cheated in the sport of boxing, and their careers still, you know what I'm saying? Their careers didn't get ended.
Right.
Why is this guy still fighting? That's why it's an obligation. Deontay Wilder put Tyson Fury to sleep on October the 9th, you know what I'm saying, to expose everything that's going on in the sport of boxing. The cheating, the scandals, the poor judgment, and the judges' scorecards, everything.
All we need is for that man to show up in the ring and just be prepared to take whatever punishment is going to be meted out for him. And then we're done. We move forward. But if he doesn't want to do that, then we'll exercise the other options that the courts have allowed to be considered. And the boxing public should now know exactly, if they didn't know before, which they did, but who he is as a person. So, but that's the way I see it, man. And I think we're both on the same page with that. I hope the bout takes place. We need this third fight to come to fruition so Deontay Wilder can have his day in the sun. Any final thoughts? Because I want to get to some more calls before we end the show.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Question I have is, okay, let's play devil's advocate and say Tyson Fury doesn't show up for the fight. I wonder what these Tyson Fury fans, what's their excuse going to be now?
Oh, they'll come up with, the fact that, he didn't need to fight him anyway, whatever. It'll be what it's going to be. But the thing is, we just need the date to come and get past it. It's going to be what it's going to be. But as I said, what's most importantly, just remember and acknowledge this. Whomever Deontay faces next in the ring, woe unto that man. whoever it may be.
Mm-hmm. And then and one more thing. Then I'm let the other callers call in.
Yeah, no more things after this one, bro. No more things after this one. Okay, go ahead.
At first, I gave Tyson Fury his props. You know what I'm saying? I said, I hate to say this, but Tyson Fury was a better fighter. But after I went back and see the fight, I said, nah, something ain't right with this guy. And then more and more, I said, yeah, that's why. But on that note, you have a blessed day, and I will be continue to and keep putting out good boxing content. I'm loving it.
All right, bro. Appreciate you. Don't be a stranger. Call back again, okay? All right, bro. Peace.
Peace.
All right, that was man Anthony calling in from 919. We appreciate the call. Appreciate it. Okay, we got 267 in the house. Who we speaking to? And thank you for calling. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Stormybman. How you doing, brother?
What's going on with you? Who's this?
This is the A-Man guy, Curtis.
Hey, Curtis, how you doing, bro?
All right, man. Good, man. Yeah, I just wanted to ask about Tyson Fury, right? When did Tyson Fury ever fought his mandate? You know, far as get other fighters, rematch.
Well, there's one rematch I know him to have taken. That was against Derek Chisora. He fought that guy twice, but he is not prone to giving rematches. It's like, especially against a guy who may have had some success against him, that may even close the gap even more in a second fight. Like Vladimir Klitschko, I'm of the belief Klitschko would have fought him a little bit differently had they had that chance to rematch to come off. So,
yeah. Because he kind of like, I don't mean to cut you off, but he kind of like bailed out of that fight too. And like I say, I mean, I've been knowing Tyson Fury, like I said, always been a cheater. But the thing is, I don't think he gonna fight Wilder again.
Well,
I think he gonna find some way to the bail out, man.
Yeah, and listen, one of the easiest way for him to bail out is this: he can pop dirty.
Yep.
See, that's the thing where, like, because over there, he's doing whatever he wants to do. Nobody's checking on him, right? Nobody's checking for him. So it's like weeks leading up to the fight. Oh, Tyson Fury pops dirty. The fight is off. Boom. There you go.
Okay. Yeah. I just call, like I said, keep the good work, man. And like I said, I love your show, man, with Three Wise Men. It comes on every Thursday, man. Like I said, I think I might have missed one. But I'm back in tune again, brother. So like I said, God bless you, man.
Hey, Curtis, work, okay? Tell the people, when do Three Wise Men come on again?
It comes on Thursday, but to me, I'm in Philadelphia Eastern time. I think it come on like 8 o'clock Eastern time.
Yes, sir.
Every Thursday.
Yes, sir, man. 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern. So that's how it is. But I was just getting that free advertisement in there for you. That's all.
ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
Yes,
like
sir.
I said, so it's always a pleasure talking to you, man. And keep it, like I said, man, I love your show, man, because, I'm 61 years old, man. And like I said, I can't be listening to one of these other guys, man, that be cussing all that. I can't take it, man. I'm too old for that, man.
I hear you, bro. And thank you for your support, because I see you in your comments out there all the time, and I really respect the fact that you roll with me like that, man. So thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem, man. Okay, you have a good day, man.
All right, you too. Peace.
All right, peace, man.
All right, that's the brother Curtis, amen, out there. He always signs off with amen. So really appreciate the brother coming in there and calling in for the show. But it apparently this Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight, man, it's on people's mind. It definitely is. Okay, we got 816 in the building. Who's calling? And thank you for calling into the show.
What's up, Stormy? Can you hear me?
I hear you just fine. Who's this, bro?
KP from Case.
Oh, man, KP, what's going on with you, bro?
Nothing much, man. Listening to the calls, man. This sport pisses you off to no end, man. Boxing. So, the thing is this. A lot of people is missing this, and we all are kind of missing this. When they raised those computerol levels for Canelo Alvarez, we forgot to think that he's probably still using the shit because they raised the levels.
Right.
So the fights that he's having now, he's still using it because they raised the levels for him. They gave him a belt. The man got $1 million man belt. Like, he can't DiBiase run around here. Nobody else can win it. He can use whatever drugs he wants. And then now they telling them they can use phentermine too. So what do I believe about the whole team? The whole team's probably on clenbuterol because they found out the levels they can use. Now they on phentermine too. So why are we not paying attention to that? Like, we're missing that part of it because now they can legally use it. What the WBC says. So it's like, man, watching boxing is like watching WWE right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, whoever got the best juice, that's who gonna win. That's what it's like.
Man, KP, you're making a great, solid point there, and a lot of people not thinking about that. The fact that, you know, when they raised the levels for him, that don't mean he stopped taking it.
No, he's still using the shit. The dude back is bigger than Hulk Hogan's, bro.
Yeah.
We got a 168-pound dude running in the ring, looking like Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior by the back, and we thinking he ain't on nothing.
And he only looks like that when he's fighting. Have you seen the pictures of him when he's like in the gym and stuff? He little.
Yeah,
he's a little dude. Little.
The dude is the height of Floyd Mayweather, but he got the back of Ray Lewis. Like, come on, man. It's a joke, man. He's like a cartoon character running around here. And people actually believe he stopped taking it, but they raised the level, so he didn't stop taking it.
Right.
They made it okay for him to take it. That's why VADA is saying what they saying. VADA's like, what the hell are we even doing in this sport when the commissioners don't VADA us whenever they want to, or the people that we doing the clean boxing program with is going to stab us in the back and basically say, hell, to hell with the test.
Yep.
Like Stormy, Stormy, if you probably know a few truck drivers or met a few truck drivers. I drive trucks too. If I fail a drug test, I cannot drive that truck and then bring no product to nobody.
Right.
Because I failed the drug test. I'm a danger to society on the road.
Right.
So this dude is in a ring with juice in him, and he fighting people, and they giving him a check, rewarding him for the shit.
I know, man. And this whole thing with Valdez, man, it's like no punishment, letting him fight. Well, what's the whole point of drug testing if you're gonna let who you want fight anyway, right?
Right.
What is the point for it? What is the point? Let's just no drug testing. You could let everything in that you want and whatever. But I'm gonna tell you something. Even if you open it up like that, how you gonna stop the brothers? The brothers still gonna get you. So it's like they'll change the rules again. You know what I'm saying? These guys are a trip, man. They going in there, they're cheating because first of all, they can't compete.
No, they can't compete. And that's why they fight. That's why they fight them around. Every time we look up, and I told people this when this happened. This fight happened a year or so ago. Tank Davis fought Leo Santa Cruz. I said, I'm not buying that shit because Leo Santa Cruz has been ducking Rigondeaux, Gary Russell, and then they're going to give him a rewarded fight on pay-per-view that I'm supposed to pay for, and he's fighting a guy that's 130-pounder that's bigger than him. I'm not buying it because he's basically stealing food out of another dude's mouth because I can see it. So Santa Cruz did that shit. Oscar Valdez ain't never fight nobody at 126. He just fought his biggest fight, and then all of a sudden he fails the drug test now. So the best fight he ever looked was his last fight. So how the hell am I supposed to believe he wasn't on it then?
Exactly. And he moved up for that fight. So it's like he had never done anything like that to the guys that he was fighting at the junior feathers, right?
No, right.
So here we go. It's like that win definitely has an asterisk by it. And if you ask me, Miguel Berchelt is somewhere looking at the TV screen kind of funny himself. Because he's like...
And they were supposed to be friends.
Right. He's probably looking at it like, I figured something was wrong. Now I got my answers. You understand?
Yeah. And if you remember, Stormy, there was another fighter, 168-pounder, Billy Joe Saunders, fought the greatest fight he ever fought against David Lemieux. And then next thing we know, when he's about to fight Demetrius Andre, he fails the test.
Yep. Listen, man, it's happening. It's real. And some of the boxing fans out here who are in love with the personalities more than they're in love with the sport, they need to get off of that train, because that one's going to the abyss. They need to get on with what we're talking about, and fair play and lack of prejudice in the sport. Because if you're good, we're going to give you your flowers. You understand? If you're accomplished, on the up and up, we're going to talk about you and celebrate with and alongside for you. But it's like, if you're doing questionable things and your ethic is questionable, and also, you know, the way you're being represented by corruption, I can't roll with that. Can't roll with that at all, because there are too many people like that young lady that lost her life this past week. You know, it's too many things happening, man, that fighters put their lives on the line. And to have someone just open up the back door and just let anything in, and then don't want to be accountable and don't want to hold people accountable and don't want to punish people. I mean, come on. At the end of the day, it's like, you know, but yeah, it's absolutely correct. But hey, KP, let me get one more call in before we end our show, man. Is there any last remarks or question you had?
Yeah, one other thing. If VADA is the best drug testing program that they got, and they willing to almost walk away from the sport of boxing, and the WBC is the one that's orchestrating that plan, nobody else uses it. IBF, WBA, WBO. So how many other fucking fighters is on drugs? Because if VADA is the only one testing for the WBC, everybody else ain't testing the shit. And that's it. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
The shit is self-explanatory. There's no way there's no way Andy Ruiz is trying to cut weight without taking nothing, bro. No way.
Absolutely.
Not that he in there the gym. No way. But that's my call. I'm done.
Yeah, thank you so much, bro. I appreciate your call. Don't be a stranger. Please call in again. All right.
Yep.
All right, peace.
I am, bro. Have a good one, bro.
You too. Wow. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. How many other fighters may be on this stuff, man? Stuff that is banned substances and under the WBC. Dude, it's probably got to be 80%. It's got to be 80%. That's titleists as well as contenders and pretenders. So, wow. Something to be said. 704 Joe, if you're out there, bro, you're free to call in now. You could call in. I know he was saying he couldn't get in because the show is growing. It's like the calls were coming today, and we got a chance. We had great calls today, by the way, man. Outstanding. I love that type of support where we get the people, they're enjoying what's happening here with this call-in show. I'm enjoying bringing it to you. So it's some great stuff. If no one else wants to call in, I'll shut this down because I can get out of here on time. Stormybman, got to do a little grocery shopping. Get prepared. This is holiday weekend, so I know some of you guys are going to break that grill out. Put on a couple extra pounds before this weekend is over with. That's what it's all about. Let's see what we got here. Hamza S says, these boys got a juice to compete. Slow feet, no athleticism, poor defense, low ring IQ. Yes, sir. Okay, we got 214 in the house. What's going on, 214? Welcome to the show.
Peace, Stormy B. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Got a little wind resistance in the background. Sound like you might be driving or something.
Okay, I'm moving away from the street. I just got a quick question. Peace to God and peace to Earth 5%. I hate to keep going over the WBC thing, but can you give us a little history on it and why have, and it's not being racist, this Mexican family have so much influence and control and ownership of that belt?
First of all, who am I speaking with? Who is this?
704 Joe.
Oh, 704. Okay.
Home of Earl Spence.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, 704. I haven't learned everybody's numbers yet, so that's why I'm asking.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Stormy, the show is growing, man. It took me an hour to get in, man. It's growing.
Yeah. Well, thanks for calling all the same, bro. So you're saying, what is it you want me to say about the WBC?
Okay. A brief history and how did these, no disrespect, Mexicans come with so much control and influence and ownership of the green belt? It's their belt. How did they gain control of that belt?
Well, it's not necessarily that they've gained control, but the organization is based in Mexico.
I did not know that. I'm glad you told me that. I did not know that till just now, man.
Yeah.
I'm a student of the game. That's why I listen, man.
Yeah, and that's fine. But check this out. To a lot of people's chagrin, Mauricio Suleiman, he's not Mexican.
Whoa! What?
No.
What?
No.
What is he?
He's from the Middle East, bro. He's from over there in the eastern part of the world. Like kind of like near the not from Jerusalem, but he's from over in that area over there.
He speaks Spanish, right?
Yeah, I think he speaks Spanish, but
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. It's a con job, bro.
I did not know that belt originated in Mexico, man, and that's the belt. When it comes to the belts, that's the belt.
Yeah.
That's WBC, man.
Yeah.
That's WBC.
Yeah.
But hey,
and they always had a strong, a strong Latin base of fighters and everything. And Jose Suleiman, when Mauricio's father, when he was running the organization, he's I'm trying to find a way to say it. He was in cahoots with Don King a lot. Him and Don King had a very special relationship.
Oh yeah, Don King. Hey, it's about the money, man.
but no, and also getting those fights sanctioned and being able to fight in certain places in the world and whatnot. Because there was a time when Don was fighting everywhere with his fighters and his promotions. He was in Puerto Rico. He was. He was over in Salvador. He was El Salvador, I should say. He was everywhere. Some of these guys, they don't go anywhere. But Don King, man, he did a lot for the sport. People give him a bad rap, but Don King did a lot for the sport, man. And he promoted boxing like nobody. Okay.
Right, he had some of the best cards, man, from top to bottom.
But it's not just about the cards. He had a vision for the sport. And he globalized boxing in a way that it wasn't before he came along.
Cool. Well, Storm, I just want to say this. Who's ever listening, man, if you want to know anything about boxing, come listen to the Three Wise Men. Okay?
Yes, sir. Can you tell them when they can catch the Three Wise Men?
Man, 8 o'clock Thursday night. Okay?
I love that free advertising, bro. I love that free advertising.
7 o'clock if you in Dallas, Texas.
I heard that, man.
All right, peace, Stormy B.
All right, peace to you.
Thanks,
Thanks, bro. Thanks.
Peace.
That's my man, 704. He's like he had to get in before we end. That's all right. That's all right. What a great show, man. You guys are something else. You guys are something else. Really supported me today. Really gave me a lot of great content to put out there for the listeners and viewers, man. That's what it's all about. That's what this call-in show is all about, where we get a chance to talk the sport and, various topics. It doesn't have to be narrowed down to one specific thing, but being able to, do this with everybody, man. Man, I feel good about today's show. And thank you, chat. You guys were chatting it up there. I couldn't even keep up with you out there in the chat because of the calls, So forgive me if I didn't repeat some of your messages out there and whatnot. But that's what happens when we roll like this, Hamza says, exactly, Stormy. I commented on that earlier. At least Don King ran things. Fights we wanted to see were made. Yes, sir. Yeah, man. And salute to Michael James 616 as well. Man, see, and that's the thing. They want to give Don King a bad rap, right? But all promoters have taken advantage. That's how they live. The promoters live off the blood of the fighters. But they will have you think that Don King just totally ruined boxing. Well, why is boxing in such bad shape right now and Don King ain't even around? I mean, he's around, but he's not the prominent promoter of today. But his work speaks for itself. So, dude, come on, man. It's like you can't allow people to influence your thinking to the point where you're no longer thinking. Huh? Come on, that don't make sense, do it? It's like you can't do that to yourself, man. Stop it. Stop it. You feel that way and you go that way, you're going to have to take a step back and be like, no, I don't think I want that. Let me, go a different direction. So, but yeah, man. What a great show. I really appreciate everybody out there, man. Smash that like button. This is a holiday weekend, so some of you may not be working tomorrow. You have the holiday. Hope you get a chance to do what you want to do for the holiday, whether that's grilling or visiting family, doing some positive things for yourself. That's what it's all about, man. You get out there and do those things and save Stormy a plate because, I like to eat, man. And I know somebody going to be grilling up tomorrow. So, and I'll be looking forward to some barbecue. You hear me? So, but hey, thanks again for everybody that tuned in. You guys that smashed that like button. Says we sitting on 79. Can we get a couple more just so we can go over 80, for the smash the like button? And then we had another idiot that give us a thumbs down. We were halfway, a little more than 3/4 of the way through the show, and somebody decided to give a thumbs down. That's just a hating situation. Don't make no sense, man, when people come in here like that. If you don't like the content, don't come, okay? I ain't going in the alley, looking through trash cans, where you at, I don't do that, I'll be sitting in first class somewhere, enjoying, some Grey Poupon or something. You out here smashing thumbs down on Stormy's channel when you can go somewhere else. Take it somewhere else. We don't need you, right? But yeah, man, everybody that called in today, much respect to you guys. You had great calls, great topics, and we were able to get through that. For those who weren't able to get through with calls, please come back, and call in. That's why I tried to open it up a little earlier today because I figured that we might have more people that wanted to get in. So this is what it's all about, man. This is what it's all about. But much love to everybody. Catch you guys next week, and we'll be doing this thing. You know what I'm saying? Peace. Have a safe, healthy, happy holiday. All right?